Hey everybody on YouTube, it's me Chadini. I wanted to title this post, all labor workers, and even labor ready workers, people that's searching for work and those that's already working, transcending or moving above and beyond into productive capital ownership, a step towards a true economic equality. And of course, I want to end that by saying power to all people, all power to all people. I want to throw that in there because I don't want people to sneak in some type of hidden discrimination plan or agenda or some type of institutionalized racism of some sort. I don't want none of that, This is for all people, race, color, creeds, and nationalities. It doesn't matter as long as you're an American and you're part of the labor force or you're actively looking for labor. You must then be able to transcend into productive capital owners. You see, again, that would be, I believe, a closer step towards a true economic equality within our country. Now, I mention that because on December 4th, 2013, President Barack Obama gave what many people consider one of his best speeches in his presidency. Or most people consider probably more so his most important speech in his presidency more than his best. But the topic was on, of course, economic inequality in America. And Obama identified this problem as saying, and I quote, "the defining challenge of our time. Making sure the economy works for all working Americans," unquote, right? His exact words. See, Obama's goals are to increase minimum wage and to raise taxes. And that would work for now. But all that would do is put a temporary band-aid on a sore that will eventually cripple and possibly deepen the economic enslavement of the American people. Huffington Post agrees. In an article written in December 2013, December 23rd, 2013, titled "President Obama Puts Spotlight on Economic Inequality," and it states, "Full employment is not an objective of business. Companies strive to keep labor input and other costs at a minimum in order to maximize profits for their owners." This we can understand as being true. The reality is that corporations constantly seek means to production that will cut costs, including an emphasis on replacing stagnant labor productivity with far productive gains. So they want to cut the stagnant labor productivity. Of course, with more, by cutting that, they want to gain more productivity. They want to do this, of course, stating here, through employment of human intelligent machines. That's possibly the only way that they could really do that. Human robots, digital computerized operations, and super automation, and other non-productive capital assets, of course. You see. But ever since the 1946 passage of the Full Employment Act, economists and politicians formulating national economic policy have charmed and engaged us into believing that economic power is democratically distributed if we have full employment. Thus, the political focus on job creation and redistribution of wealth, rather than on full production of broader capital ownership accumulation. This is manifested, of course, in the belief that labor work is the only way to participate in production and earn income. Long ago, that was very true, because labor provided 95% of the input into the production of products and services. But today, that is not true. Capital provides not less than 90 to 95% of the input. When capital workers, productive capital owners, replace labor workers or non-capital owners, as the principal suppliers of products and services, labor employment alone becomes inadequate and, futuristically speaking, becomes obsolete. Conventional economists, political leaders, and the national media are oblivious to the role of physical productive capital, which do much more work and produces income to those who own such capital assets. See, it produces money, it produces income to those who own it, and it does more work to actually own those machines, those robots, okay? And that technology that may take over the labor workers' job, you see. So if we make the labor workers the owners and controllers and operators of the system, of those very things, you see, that's taking their jobs away, then they will collect a check, you see. Instead of paying the companies that create them to supply them and keep up the maintenance, they'll pay the people that would have been working for them all that time, you see. They would have been paying them to keep up the maintenance on these machines, to paying them, while they have, of course, more time on their hands now because they're owners of machines that's doing the physical work, that's doing the labor work for the companies. Now, of course, this is futuristically speaking. Now, I have always been a believer that the people should have sole ownership, should be the controllers and operators of a system that they are so reliant and dependent on. Even if it is driven by technology and a technocratic one, we the people must learn how to work the inner phases of that technology in order to have some type of power and control within the system. Now, I hope I also become an advocate of that with our organization, which then we are going to fight for the fact that people should be the controllers, the sole owners and operators of the system they very much are dependent and reliant on. Michadini.com. Support the cause.
The Poor People's Campaign was about economics. And what happened to that whole movement? It's almost as if it wasn't. It disappeared.
Wait a minute. It didn't disappear. You might forget Martin Luther King was assassinated in April. The Poor People's Campaign was supposed to go to Washington in April. So the organization that mobilized it was essentially decapitated and thrown into chaos about 3 weeks before it was supposed to happen. Those organizations were being, as I said, once the Civil Rights Acts were completed, that was it. The government was through with us. They're not interested in restructuring. There has never been any interest in restructuring the economy for the benefit of the poor. I don't know where you're going to talk about the bonus army, go back to Shays' Rebellion. I mean, this is like the no-no. This is a capitalist society. It's built on inequality and avarice in many ways.
Michadini.com. Support the cause.